All right. Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and it's time for a weekly track roundup. My thoughts, my opinions on a bunch of songs that have dropped over the past week or so. They are linked down below, so you can check them out for yourself, whether I loved them or hated them or felt somewhere in between. Also linked down below is, of course, our Turntable Lab link. If you use it to buy some records, some what have you, we get kickback from it, supports the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Also, of course, we have our Patreon page where you can get some extra bonus monthly content while supporting us in the process as well. We have our YouTube Shorts page where we put up all sorts of great short form content. And without any further ado, the worst tracks of the week. We have a handful of those. They are as follows. Let's make this as painless as possible. 1, Clancy, forthcoming album from 21 Pilots. Our third taste of the record with a new single comes in the form of Backslide, and I'm not liking it. The quirky, annoying white guy pop rap vibe is not working for me. Aren't we coming back to the trench? Why aren't we rocking? The last single was so dang fun and, good on the storytelling side. The riffs were great, and, some harrowing bits as well, dealing in depression and just like personal life crises. This I'm just not really getting as much out of, unfortunately. Moving on from there, we have a new one from Teddy Swims, who has put out a bunch of new tracks and singles, I guess, with this I've Tried Everything But Therapy version, or part 1.5. So, kind of like adding to the material that's already out there. But to me, this just kind of feels like modern pop soul music for advertisements. That's really all it sounds like to me. I glean nothing from it. Also gleaning nothing from this new track that has Southside, has Ken Carson, and also has Destroy Lonely on it. President. It is just a total boring, uninspired, vapid rage mess, and that's really all I have to say about it. Moving on from there, Normani has come through with a new single that I was actually pretty excited about, but the title of it is 159, features Gunna. She's kind of throwing it back to an older R&B style and trying to go for like, a really, really, really potently sexy vibe, but vocally, I feel like she's not really making this style of R&B her own. And on top of it, if you are going to do kind of, a sexy chemistry dynamic with a featured artist, with a collaborator, you have to kind of make sure that that collaborator's voice, performance style has sex appeal. I feel like Gunna's doesn't, and therefore it doesn't really work. Moving on from there, Motley Crue, Dogs of War. What is this cover? Or is this what happened to them in the war? Are they zombies? Either way, this multi-phased metal mess has bits that sound like old school new metal, that sound kind of like Ghost for whatever reason, and it's all unflattering from front to back. We can leave it there. And Girl in Red has covered the Talking Heads classic Girlfriend is Better, but I feel like honestly, what's kind of missing is the trademark strange, eerie, awkward vibes that kind of made Talking Heads so special. What we have here is just kind of the grooves presented in a much smoother fashion. The vocals are played pretty straight as well, and as a result, I feel like a lot of this song's distinct flavor kind of just went out the window on this cover, and just does not work, in my opinion. All right, the tracks I was on the fence with, they are as follows. You might like them more than me, so I'm just kind of give them like I'm gonna kind of quickly give them a quick shout out. We have a new one from Chris Stapleton, who is doing a little bit of Tom Petty over here. And while I think it's a very passionate, fiery performance on the track, with Chris's latest stuff, we're still kind of in like Ford Truck Month country rock mode, and I just feel like it's not as great as some of his earlier stuff, in my opinion. All right, moving on from there, Nilüfer Yanya has a new one out, which I'm not really crazy about, to be honest, because while I do think the vocals are pretty strong, the song and instrumental feel maybe a little too demo quality. I know her stuff usually kind of trends toward, the lo-fi side a little bit, but I feel like this went down that road just a little bit too much. And as a result, the song does not pop as hard as it possibly could. But, track is linked down below. We have a new one from JT of City Girls, who continues to go solo, which, can't really blame her considering how much of a mess the other half of the City Girls is kind of proving to be right now. The Diddy connections and all. But this new one over here, Okay, is just kind of, okay. There's not really much to say about it other than that. It's just kind of your swaggered, standard trap cut with, a lot of brags, an attempt at charisma, but I don't know if it's quite getting there, to be honest. Just kind of seems really basic. Moving on from there, also speaking of basic, this new Decemberists ballad, which, is a swing at a love song, kind of misses because, I feel like with a love song, there really should be some passion at play, like a little bit of fire in its belly to sort of like really kind of sell you on the idea that there is a genuine feeling of love and infatuation fueling this track. But it kind of feels like, some very subpar poetry with not a whole lot of feeling behind it, in my opinion. It's a very basic acoustic guitar passages too. So while it's not terrible, it's not really all that special or inspired either. All right, moving on from there. Crybaby, new one from Cults. I've never been a huge Cults fan, but I feel like, this kind of basic, somewhat neo-psychedelic vintage pop cut over here isn't too bad. It's not too bad at all. So, if that's kind of your thing, most definitely give it a shot. And we have a new one over here from Christine and the Queens, which is a low-key, synthy, little ballad on Rentrer, chez moi. Obviously some French lyrics as well. And it's a little alluring. It didn't exactly blow me away, but it was nice while it was on, for sure. And one more. We have Cakes the Killa over here, who has come through with a bunch of extra deluxe tracks from his new Black Sheep project, which is now expanded. We will link you to the song Standing Ovation down below to check out for yourself. All right. And also one more very odd shout out. AJJ, Kool Keith, and Kimya Dawson have crossed over for a new single that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like why would these three ever do anything together in any possible world? But for whatever reason, the timeline we're in is the timeline that is occurring in. And it's actually kind of wild. I simultaneously wince a little bit, but I highly respect how fucking out there it is, absolutely, for sure. And we can leave it there. It'll definitely surprise you. I'm a little on the fence with it because of how nuts it is, but it'll definitely surprise you if you give it a shot. It's definitely the most unlikely collaboration you may hear all year. Not denying that. All right. Best tracks of the week. They are as follows. We have this new one over here from YG titled KNOCKA. It is advertised as a KNOCKA, short for a trunk KNOCKA, and it certainly is. I think it's one of his biggest bangers in a long time. West Coast vibes all the way. Sticky bars, great flows, good chorus too. It works. All right, moving on from there. A bit of a controversial cut over here from, none other than Porter Robinson. Knock Yourself Out is the name of the track. And I've been seeing a lot of fans split on this track. Some saying that it's annoying and it's dumb and it's childish and it sounds like crappy Owl City music. Others are kind of going gaga for it. I'm enjoying it myself. I think it's like really fun, innocent, childlike, throwback, synthy emo pop that's giving like a little Anamanaguchi vibes. I'm liking it quite a bit. I think it's quite good, even if it is like consciously being, a little Peter Pan syndrome, I suppose. I think it's a fun little cut. It's very catchy, and I think, people need to kind of turn down the cringe-o-meter and really kind of give it a chance, because I think it is well written, and it's very bright, and it's very exuberant, and it is very youthful in a way that's actually more self-aware than I think some people are giving it credit for. All right, moving on from there. Pallbearer has a brand new, massive 10-minute cut where I'm actually sold a bit more on the vocals with this one than I was on their last single. Also, very long, epic, multi-phased doom metal track with a slick and pretty sick sax solo. on the back end, as well as some very cool, like little synth passages that are kind of stuttering and fluttering on the back end too. Sign me up. Endless Place is the name of this track. Give it a shot. Also liking a track that I have linked down below to this new EP from Maruja. I've been talking up this band for a minute now, as I think they are, one of the best kind of art rock, art punk, linear post-punk, post-rocky adjacent bands that are out there right now. They continue to be with this new release for sure. One Hand Behind the Devil is the title of the track. Give it a shot for sure, for sure. We also have Mabel over here who is coming through with a bit of an R&B throwback, but this time, great song. Great production. I'm kind of saying this time in comparison with some other R&B cuts that we've discussed so far. This is actually like, if you're looking for some throwback R&B, this is tasteful. Great funky grooves on the production side, good solid vocals, standout chorus. It's got everything you need, nothing you don't. And Vitamins is the name of the cut. Moving on from there, we have Louis Cole, who's doing a bit of a team up on a forthcoming album with the Metropole Orkestra, short for, I'm sure. And Jules Buckley, Things Will Fall Apart. The horn hits on this thing are massive. The beats are crazy. It's giving a little, kind of hip hop, bit of Stevie Wonder, bit of neo soul, bit of prog funk. It's got a little bit of everything to it, just like a lot of Louis Cole's music typically does. But I feel like the instrumental layers and the production are just on another level in comparison with everything he's done up until this point. It's just kind of crazy what the orchestra bits are doing to this track. And it's some fire. It's some magic. It's some fireworks. Give it a spin. All right, moving on from there. Knocked Loose comes through with another great single. This one over here, Suffocation, features none other than Poppy. The riffs and production go hard as hell. It's going to be one of the heaviest things you've heard in your life. I guarantee it. Excuse me, I'm disgusting. But Poppy adds a little bit of vocal versatility to the equation that I think plays over really, really well. All right, moving on from there, Kara Jackson, singer-songwriter extraordinaire, poet extraordinaire, comes through with a brand new cut with her, of course, wonderful finger pick guitars, her unique vocal delivery, and some great verses too. It is a lovely little love song. Make sure to give this one a spin. It's entrancing as all hell. A few more. We have Joey Valence and Brae. This track is quite interesting. These guys, if you've heard some of their kind of viral TikTok-y hits before, that they've got kind of a Beastie Boys appeal to them. But this track over here has a mix of a few different things instead. We have like a little bit of Let Me Clear My Throat, a little bit of old school hip hop electro stuff going on. And on top of that, some Lil Jon too, for a banger of a track where, the guys are the ones who get to be the baddies on the floor. The Baddest is the name of the track. Give it a shot. All right, moving on from there, we have Iglooghost, who has come through with a just mind-bending, futuristic rager raver of a cut that is just difficult to make heads or tails of, but endlessly groovy and exciting from front to back. Loving this one for sure, for sure. Excited for this new album cycle too from Igloo. All right, a couple more. Johnny Cash is going to be coming through with a posthumous album very soon. Songwriter, I guess this one was shelved quite a while ago, and if this song over here, our first taste of it, is any indication as to why, maybe it's because the album is strangely horny. Well All Right is the name of the track, and on the song, Johnny is shooting his shot at the laundromat with quite a bit of innuendo. It's kind of funny, kind of cute, and a little bricked up too. But I'm liking it. It's a fun one. All right. We have a couple more. Bat for Lashes has at least a handful of singles out so far. The Dream of Delphi is the new record that is on the way. But this song over here, Letter to My Daughter, is absolutely beautiful, stunning, personal, moving. Read these lyrics, you'll be moved to tears, I swear. And, the synthy, spacey production is very lovely as well. Excited to hear, an expansion of that when the entire album is out for sure. And finally, we have Arooj Aftab, who is an artist I'm just kind of like learning about through this upcoming album, through this single, Rani is the name of the first teaser track from it. And yeah, it's like this a really beautiful combination of, various Middle Eastern music styles on top of it, jazz too. It's very meditative. It's very entrancing. It's very beautiful. The vocals are super nuanced, and I just don't really know what to say about it beyond that. It's a little bit of a beauty that's beyond words, in my opinion. And I'm pretty excited to hear what else this album has to offer when the entire thing is out, for sure. So I don't know. I think we're just gonna leave it there. The weekly track roundup, everybody. That is it. It's in the can. It's in the can. Those are all the recommendations for this week. Hopefully you got some good ones out of this video. Remember to check them all out down below if any of the things I mentioned piqued your interest, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Anthony Fantano, Weekly Tracks, forever.